Well, again, it seemed almost like God arranged for me to see those things this morning. Charlie Wilson's war was no more than off, and I was sitting there making notes to do the previous video, and I look up, and here it is, the plot to kill Hitler. Well, they weren't talking about the plot by the British or by the Americans or the French. They were talking about a plots to kill Hitler. Germans plotting to do it. That's important to me. I've talked before about the fact that for years and years, well into my 50s, I felt guilty about what we Germans did to the rest of the world. How much German? Well, not a whole lot. My grandmother, Harmon's maiden name was Henneke, and she came over from Germany as an 11-year-old, as I understand it. That Grandpa Harmon, I don't know. He looked English to me, and I never really heard, but I don't think he was German. But I'm at least 1/4 German, and I felt very, very bad about what Germany did to the world. And it was certainly what they did to try to exterminate the Jews, the gypsies, the handicapped, and anybody that dared oppose what they were doing. So, as soon as I looked up and saw it, hey, I started making notes on 2 pages. And these were really powerful German people of enough power that they had the means and the loyalties under them to try to kill Hitler. But first it showed the rise of Hitler and said that the big competing parties there weren't Democrats and Republicans. After the war, that the big parties were the Communist Party and the Nationalist Party, and Hitler was on the Nationalist side and won. But he wasn't in very long, and he began to initiate all sorts of really hard-nosed, gross things. He agitated all the time to divide, to split the way people felt about their neighbors and find somebody to name as a scapegoat. They're the bad guys. And he was out to weed out, get rid of, kill the Jewish people, the gypsies, the handicapped. How in the world, you think, could he get that to go over? Well, he probably really didn't get it to go over as much as he just kept propagandizing. And, like I feel like Limbaugh is a propagandist, and that he tries to divide the only good people are us Republicans who are really conservative, and the rest are bad people. They're Democrats. Well, Mr. Limbaugh would be an amateur compared to Mr. Hitler. He got people to believing and just kept feeding it through the press, through the papers, through neighborhood meetings and so on. And it wasn't very long then as the point that if you didn't back what he said, you were in danger. If you saw somebody and they said, "Hi, Hitler," or just gave a salute, you better give a salute back. And you better not say anything negative against anybody. Oh, he had a youth corps. Oh, boy, did he ever get the young men and the young women together and separately work with them and make loyalists of them out of his program. Save the nation and make it great. So it caught on. Way too well. But it's important to me to watch that program and realize, hey, big time Germans went right after him and wanted to get rid of him. And one of the first efforts was in 1937, after he had announced his intentions of conquering the neighboring countries. A leading general said, it's not right. That's not the way we do business. If I remember right, they said his name was General Beck. And he got a group together that, hey, we're going to stop him. And they seemed to be getting some momentum going. But at about that time, Chamberlain and all those other countries over there, we don't want to get into a fight. He's just a little idiot. Let him go ahead and be an idiot. And they stood by and let Hitler just take over the Sudan. and without a fight, and it just squelched the effort that they were under at that time to try to get enough power and enough oomph to take him out. Well, a little later, they said, let's try again. And Hitler had tried to tie everything down. His Gestapo was ruthless. One group of three or four, forgotten, young people failed to do the salute right, said something critical. A trial was held. This happened on day one, and within 4 days, those kids were tried, convicted, beheaded. You think that'd scare hell out of everybody? Make a zipper on a lot of lips? Make a lot of hands go up even though they didn't want them to go up? Yeah, I think so. I think so. Well, another secret resistance group worked to stop Hitler, and by 1943, Hitler's war was overextended. I mean, he had so much success, he really thought, hell, we can conquer the whole world easy. So even though he hasn't completely taken out England, and he's done enough by taking over France and threatening England that the United States has gotten into it, he goes ahead and gets himself really overextended by taking on Russia. You know, Russia's the big bugaboo to us now, but at that time, Russia saved our behinds. Two things. He swept into Russia and pushed through, and he got way out there ahead of his supply lines, and he got into cold, cold Russia, and winter came on just as he was taking on Stalingrad, and he wasted a lot of time, money, materials, and thousands of men. And Stalingrad held. The Russians held. No wonder we fear the Russian army. They're tough. Well, a bunch of the guys said, you know, the way to take him out is to get him to the front. Get him over there to Russia, and we'll take him out over there. And, of course, they were going to rig it up to make it look like it was an act of war, that he just got caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Didn't work. Just didn't work. Another time they had set up a program to put a bomb in a plane that he's going to be in, and they got the bomb in the plane, got him in the plane, he made the trip, but somehow the fuses, the way they were set up, and the altitude the plane flew, somehow the cold, they think, caused it. The bombs didn't go off. Go figure. But what's important to me is that there were real Germans, 100% Germans, like my ancestors, 1/4 of them, that they were after that rascally, terrible Hitler and would have killed him if they could have. It just didn't work out. Means a lot to me, makes me feel maybe not proud of my German heritage, but certainly completely accepted of it and no longer feeling guilty personally about what Hitler, as leader of the German people, did in World War II.